Welcome back to the channel. I'm Eric Pincus, and today we're going to take a look at the Golden State Warriors draft pick table. Before we begin, please just take a quick look at the description to make sure you're looking at the most recent version of this video. If the Warriors make another trade before the draft, I'll need to re-record because this will be out of date. Also, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell and you'll be appraised of any of my new content. Also, if you're feeling generous, you'll see the Patreon, Venmo, and PayPal links. And if you're interested in joining my Discord server, hit me up with a message. The Warriors have a rather complex draft pick table with some areas of strength and some of weakness. And the obvious standout is the Minnesota Timberwolves pick that they'll get in either 2021 or 22 from the D'Angelo Russell trade. And if the Warriors want to make a deal to return to prominence, that could be a key element. But then they also owe a first to the Oklahoma City Thunder and one to the Memphis Grizzlies. And so with the Stepien rule, which we'll get into in a moment, they have some areas where they're very limited in what they can do in trade. As of the All-Star break, the Timberwolves had the worst record in the NBA, which could bode very well for the Warriors. The Minnesota 2021 first has some protection. It will only convey to the Warriors if it's in the 4 through 30 range. It has top 3 protection. Even if the Wolves finish the season with the worst record in the league, their pick's fate is going to be determined by the draft lottery. The odds of the Wolves winning a top 3 pick with the worst record in the league is only just about 40%, which means the Warriors would have almost a 60% chance of getting the 4th or 5th pick in the draft. Those are pretty good odds, assuming the Timberwolves are the absolute worst team, and if they climb at all, the odds only improve for the Warriors. If Minnesota's protection does kick in, Golden State will get the pick completely unprotected in 2022. That means anywhere in the draft from 1 to 30. Meanwhile, the Warriors owe their own 2021 first-round pick to the Oklahoma City Thunder for Kelly Oubre. Now, that pick is top 20 protected, and the Warriors are sort of flirting in that area. They may make the playoffs, they may not, but they're right around that range. So if they finish 21 to 30, that pick will go to the Thunder. Otherwise, they keep it. And if they keep it, then the Warriors will send the Minnesota 2021 second-round pick to the Thunder. And that's not a bad consolation prize for the Thunder, as the Wolves pick will be about 31, maybe 32, 33 in the draft. That Minnesota pick also came over to the Warriors in the D'Angelo Russell deal. The Warriors also have their own 2022 first-round pick, which is available in trade. But because they owe their 2024 to the Memphis Grizzlies, they cannot trade their 2023 first-round pick because of the Stepien rule. Dating back to the early 80s, the Cleveland Cavaliers had an owner named Ted Stepien who traded away a bunch of firsts, and it didn't fare well for the team, and the NBA didn't want them to trade away all of their future firsts. So they put in a rule that you can't have 2 drafts in a row without at least 1 first-round pick. Just the possibility that the 2024 pick may go to the Grizzlies blocks the 2023 first from being traded by the Stepien rule. The Warriors owe that pick from the Andre Iguodala trade, and that pick is top 4 protected in 2024, top protected in 2025, and completely unprotected in 2026. So as long as the Warriors are 5 through 30, they'll send out their first in 2024. If not, they'll send it in 2025, provided they are 2 through 30. And if somehow they get that number 1 pick in 2025, the Grizzlies will get it 1 through 30 in 2026. It will probably go in 2024 based on the Warriors roster, but there's certainly the possibility that it delays until 2025 or even 2026, but it's very unlikely. And as we discussed with the Timberwolves, even if you have the worst overall record in the league, it still doesn't guarantee a top 1 spot, let alone a top 3 spot. And so 2024, 25, and 26 are all locked up as potential picks going to the Memphis Grizzlies. They're no longer available. And then the Stepien rule blocks the 2027 first-round pick. So the Warriors can only trade 1 future first-round pick, either the Minnesota Timberwolves pick or their own in 2022, but not both. And none of their other picks are available. So do they have a way around this limitation? The first answer would be acquire another team's first. The Stepien rule doesn't indicate that you have to have your own first, as long as you have a first in a given year. But that's not an easy thing to do. just acquire another team's first-round pick. That may not be available. Another option might be to negotiate with the Grizzlies on the 2024 first-round pick to get them to remove the protection. And so that's something similar to what the Milwaukee Bucks did with the Cleveland Cavaliers this past offseason. They owed a protected first. They sent them another second-round pick from Milwaukee to Cleveland to remove that protection, and that enabled the Bucks to send an additional first to the New Orleans Pelicans to get Drew Holiday. And so the Warriors could try to do something similar. It might cost them a second-round pick. Of course, they're wholly dependent on the Grizzlies agreeing to go along with that. There might be another way that makes sense for the Warriors, and that's a 2 years after trade. And the way a 2 years after trade works is that they owe their 2024 to the Grizzlies with these protections. They can trade their 2026, but with the caveat that it's 2 years after the conveyance of that 2024 pick. And so if Memphis doesn't convey until 2025, then this additional traded pick wouldn't go until 2027. The challenge there is that the Grizzlies pick could go in 2026. We already said 2027 isn't available because of the Stepien rule. So there would have to be some language in that pick where maybe it converts to a second, or maybe it converts to cash instead of a pick. The only way that it would not convey is if somehow the Warriors were the number one pick in 2025, and the odds of that are so low that it might not be an issue for another team, that there's this very small chance that the pick could convert to a second or to cash or something less than a first-round pick. As far as the second round, the Warriors have been very busy there as well. They owe their 2021 second to the Utah Jazz for Alen Smailagic. I feel like I'm not saying that right. That was originally traded to the New Orleans Pelicans, but they flipped it to Utah in the Derek Favors deal. And as noted, the Warriors may get the 2021 from Minnesota for Russell, but that pick will only stay with the Warriors if they give up their first-round pick to the Thunder, which again is top 20 protected. Golden State has 2 seconds in 2022, their own and one from the Toronto Raptors. That pick was sent from Toronto to Philadelphia to dump the contract of Malachi Richardson, and then the Warriors got it from the 76ers for Alec Burks and Glenn Robinson III. The Warriors owe their 2023 second to either the Detroit Pistons or Cavaliers. That pick was also sent to New Orleans for Smailagic, again, probably not right, and flipped it to the Jazz. Utah dealt it to the Cavaliers for Jordan Clarkson, and then Cleveland agreed to send the lower of 2 picks, their own and Golden State's, to the Detroit Pistons for Andre Drummond, a well-traveled pick. And then the Warriors sent their 2024 second in a 2019 draft day deal with the Atlanta Hawks to get Eric Paschall. He was the 41st pick, and then the Hawks sent that pick to Houston in the Clint Capella trade, and then the Rockets agreed to send it to the Cavaliers for Kevin Porter Jr., but only if it's in the 56 to 60 range. If it's 31 through 55, it'll stick with Houston. The Warriors also owe their 2025 second to the Brooklyn Nets in the Kevin Durant, D'Angelo Russell swap, and then they sent their 2026 second to the Hawks to dump Omari Spellman's contract, and then that leaves the Warriors with their own 2027 second. So to sum that up, the Warriors may have the Minnesota 2021 second, but only if they give their first-round pick to the Thunder. Otherwise, that Wolves pick will go to Oklahoma City. The Warriors' own 2021 goes to Utah, 2023 to either Cleveland or Detroit, 2024 to either Cleveland or Houston, 2025 to Brooklyn, and 2026 to Atlanta. That leaves the Warriors with 2 seconds in 2022, their own and Toronto's, plus their own pick in 2027. Second-round picks aren't blocked by the Stepien rule, so Golden State can trade any of those available seconds. Warriors get the Wolves pick this year if it's 4 through 30, otherwise it's unprotected in 2022, and that could be a very valuable asset in trade. And then they also owe their 2024 to Memphis, top 4 protection. Then they have top 1 protection in 2025 and no protection at all in 2026. They can trade away either the mini pick or their own in 2022, and potentially a 2 years after trade in 2026 with a caveat that there's a small chance it may not convey at all as a first-round pick and may have to convert to a second or cash. Well, that should do it for the Warriors draft pick table. The key standout, of course, is that Minnesota pick, which could be the key to a massive blockbuster trade if the Warriors can find a partner. But they may want that pick for themselves and to build through the draft. So time will tell. Please like the video and share it with your friends. Please subscribe to the channel and click the notification bell. You'll know when my next video is up. Also, if you're feeling generous, there in the description you will find my PayPal, my Patreon, and my Venmo links. Any little bit helps, goes right back into the channel. Also, if you're interested in my Discord server, just reach out. My name is Eric Pincus. Thank you for watching.